Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Sinatun and I'm from class E. So, today we're going to talk about something really interesting, how people communicate more than just the word they say. And this idea was created by a philosopher named Paul Gries in 1975, and we're going to learn how in everyday conversation, and there's what we actually say, and then there's what we really mean, and somehow we all understand each other even when we don't say uh, things directly. First, what is conversational cooperation? And think about when you talk to someone, you don't just throw words randomly at each other, right? Both of you are actually working together to understand each other. For example, uh, right now, you assume that I'm trying to help you learn something useful, and you trust that I'm telling the truth and talking about relevant things. And I assume that you are telling and trying to understand me. This is what we call cooperate in conversation. It's like an invisible agreement we all make when we talk. If we didn't have this cooperation, conversation would be impossible. And imagine if you never knew whether someone was joking, lying, or just talking nonsense. Grace cooperative principle. Okay, this definition sounds complicated, but it's actually simple. Basically, it means say the right thing about the right time for the conversation you are having. For example, if we are talking about weekend plans, don't suddenly start talking about math formula unless there's a good reason. If someone asks you, what time is it? Just tell them uh, the time. This is not rule that you must follow or you'll get in trouble. Next, the four maxim. Greeks say there are four basic ways people cooperate in conversation. Let me explain them simply. Number one, quality. Tell the truth. Number two, quantity. Don't say too much or too little. Number three, uh, relation. Stay on topic. Be relevant. Number four, manner. Be clear and easy to understand. These are not laws. Nobody will punish you if you break them. They just describe how people normally talk when they are being helpful and cooperative. And here's something interesting. Uh, Sometimes we break this on purpose to create special meanings, and we'll talk about that later. Maxim of quality. The first maxim is about being truthful. When someone tells you something, you automatically believe they think it's true. For example, if I say it's raining outside, you trust me. You think I actually look outside for or heard the rain. You don't think I'm just making it up for fun. And now, of course, people do lie sometimes, but lying only works because we usually expect the truth. And think about it. If nobody ever believed anything anyone say, communication would be impossible. We'll have to check and verify everything ourselves. So, trust in truthfulness in the foundation of communication. Maxim of quantity. The second maxim is about giving the right amount of information, not too little, not too much, or just right. Let me give you easy examples. If someone asks, what time is it? What should you say? If you just say afternoon, that's not enough. They want to know the exact time. The right answer is 3 o'clock or 3 p.m. But if you say it's exactly 3 hours, uh, 47 minutes, and 23 second p.m., and I checked my watch this morning with the atomic clock, that's why too much information. They just want to know roughly what time is it. We do this all the time without thinking. We automatically know how much information is enough for each situation. Maxim of relation. The third maxim is very simple. Be relevant. Talk about things that relate to the conversation. If someone asks, "How was your weekend?" don't start talking about uh, uh, chemistry of physics unless there are connection. This seems super obvious, right? But here's what's interesting. We believe so strongly that people are being relevant that even when something sounds off topic, they try to find the connection. For example, uh, image you say, "I'm having a car problem," and your friend say, "My neighbor is a mechanic." At first, this might sound like they are changing the subject, but you immediately understand they are suggesting you could ask their neighbor for help. And we work hard to find relevance because we assume people are being cooperative. Maxim of manner. The fourth is about being clear. Precise is a fancy old word that just means clear and easy to understand. This maxim has four parts. First, don't use complicated words when simple words work. Say, "I'm hungry." No, "I require sustenance." Second, don't be ambiguous or confusing. Be specific. Third, don't ramble on and on with unnecessary details. Keep it short. And fourth, say things in logical order. If you are giving direction, say turn left, then turn right. Now, you turn right after you previously turn left. The difference between this maxim and the other is that this one is about how you say something, not what you say. It's about style and clarity. Now we come to the most interesting part, implicator. This is fancy word, but the idea is simple. Implicator is when you mean something without saying it directly. It's the hidden meaning behind your words. Let me give you an example. Your friend asks, "Want to get coffee?" And you say, "I have an exam tomorrow." Notice you didn't say yes or no, but your friend understands you mean no, I can. That hidden no is the implicator. And here's another example. Someone asks, "What do you think of my new haircut?" And you say, "Wow, it's really different." You didn't say you like it or hate it, but they probably understand you don't really like it. And we use implicature every single day because it's more polite and more efficient than saying everything directly. Example analysis of implicature. Let me break down exactly how implicature work with this example. Person A asks, "Are you coming to the party tonight?" This is yes. This is yes or no question, right? But person B doesn't say yes or no. Instead, they say, "I have to work now." If we think about the literal meaning, we're just telling A about their work schedule, but does get confused. Now I immediately understand this meaning. Now, I can come to the party. How does this happen? Well, A assumes B is being relevant, and that's the maxim of relation. So A thinks, why is B telling me about uh, work? It must be relevant to my question about the party. Oh, I understand. Work means B can come. And this all happen in our brain in less than second. And plus, this way of answering is more polite and just say no, and it gives the reason at the same time. And very efficient. Next, flooding maxim. Now here's where things get really cool. Sometimes people break this maxim on purpose, very obviously. This is called flirting. Flooding. But flooding is very different from just breaking rule. Let me explain. When you lie, you are secretly breaking the quality maxim. You want people to think you are telling the truth, but you're not. That's a deception. But Floating is different. When you float, you break the rule of obviously that everyone knows you are breaking it. And that's the whole point. And when the listener notices the obvious violation, they think, okay, they are clearly breaking this maxim, but I still think they are trying to communicate something. So, what do they really mean? And then the listener figure out the hidden meaning. Flooding is actually a smart communication strategy. We use it for sarcasm, jokes, being polite, and many other things. Let me show you example. Flooding quality, irony or sarcasm. Let me show you how flooding quality works. This is when you say something that's obviously not true. This is how sarcasm works. An image, it's raining really hard outside, thunder, lightning, and terrible weather. Your friend looks outside and say, beautiful weather for a picnic. Now, obviously, this is false. Nobody actually thinks that's good weather for a picnic. But do you think your friend is crazy or lying? No, you immediately understand they mean the opposite. The weather is terrible. This is sarcasm. And here's another example. Your friend arrived uh, 1 hour, an hour, and let's meet you. You say, oh, wonderful timing. Obviously, 1 hour late is not wonderful timing, but they understand you are being sarcastic. You mean the timing is bad. The key the key here is that the lie is so obviously that nobody can possibly think you are trying to the text devase them. That's how they know to look for the real meaning. Floating quantity, too much information. Now, let's look at the floating quantity by giving too much information. Image you casually ask your friend, how was your shopping trip? We expect them to say something like, it was good or it was fine. But instead, they say, well, I left the house at exactly 3:47 p.m. I took the blue car, not the red one. I drove down Main Street and stopped at every single red light. And they keep going with tons of tiny details. And you are thinking, why are you telling me all this? I just asked a simple question. And that's exactly the point. All this extra detail create a special meaning. Maybe they are uh, building up to tell you an exciting story. Maybe something bad happened and they are trying to prove where they were. And maybe they are really nervous about something. The extra information itself sends a message. Pay attention, something important is coming. Flooding quantity. Too little information. The upside can also happen. Given too little information, let's say your friend had a really important job interview. They prepare for weeks. You are excited and you ask, how was your interview? And they just say, fine. Just one word. That's it. Now, you were expecting detail. You want to hear about the question, how they answer, and the interview was like. But you only get fine. This tiny answer tell you a lot. Man. It probably means they don't want to talk about it, which usually means it didn't go well. Or maybe they are upset or disappointed. And the shortness of the answer is the message. Here's another example. How your relationship going? Okay, just okay. That one word speak volumes, doesn't it? Sometimes what people don't say is more important than what they do say. Floating relation, changing subject. Floating relation happen when someone completely change the subject instead of answering. This can be very meaningful. Image you are not work and you ask a college, what do you think options work? And suddenly they say, hey, have you seen the weather lately? It's so nice. And that has nothing to do with your question, right? But because we assume people are cooperative, we don't think they are just being random. We look for meaning, usually. It means they can or don't want to answer your question. Maybe John is standing right there. Maybe it's a sensitive office politics situation. Maybe they don't want to say something negative. And the fact that they change the subject is their answer. It tells you this is not a safe topic to discuss. And parents do this with kids too. Uh, She'll ask, "Where do babies come from?" And the parent quickly say, who wants ice cream?" The parent is avoiding the question because they are not really have the really want really the parent the parent is avoiding the question because they are not ready to have that conversation yet. Floating matter, being unclear. Floating matter is when you are deliberately unclear when you could easily be clear, but there's usually a good reason. Parents do this all the time. Instead of saying clearly, "Let's talk about your problem when the kids are in bed," they might say, "Let's discuss this when little aren't around." Little ear is unclear, indirect way to say children. But the unclear expression has a purpose. The children might be listening right now. Another common example is euphemism. Euphemisms. Instead of saying someone died, we say they passed away, or no longer with us. Instead of fired, we say someone was let go. These phrases are less clear than direct word, but they are more polite and gentle. Sometimes being unclear is actually kinder than being direct. And this especially true in some cultures where indirect communication is very valued and being too direct is considered rude. Practical example. Here's Greece's famous example. A job recommendation letter only say his English is excellent and attendance. Practical example. Here's Greece's famous example. A job recommendation letter only say his English is excellent and attendance is regular. But in recommendation, you expect work quality, skills, and achievement. The letter only mention minimum requirements. Floating quality, we ask why only these trivial things? Answer, because there are nothing better to say. The letter gives a negative recommendation through what it doesn't say, damning true false praise. And the second example, two parents shopping with kids. Parent B say, I veto. ICACREAM spelling it. Why spelled to another adult? It's delivery unclear. Flooding manner, the children are right there. If kids hear ice cream, they want it, then begging and crying. But later, they won't understand. Uh, why implicature matters? Uh, First, implicature enables polite communication. "I'm busy" is nicer than "I don't like you." Second, it maintains social harmony, giving negative feedback without direct attack. Third, it increases meaning, creating humor and sarcasm. Fourth is efficient. A half the word communicative communicates fast. Refusal and reason simultaneously. Fifth, all culture use implicature but differently. What's polite in one culture might be confusing in another. And finally, mastering implicature separate basic language ability from the true uh, fluency. It's about cultural and social skill, not just grammar. Cultural consideration. Different cultures use implication differently. High context cultures like Japan rely heavily on direct communication that might be difficult, means no, and a direct refusal is rude. Low context low context cultures like USA or Germany prefer direct communication. A direct no is acceptable. Problem happen when the Smith German thinks Japanese are evasive. Japanese think that German are rude, but both are following their culture's rule. Understanding this difference is crucial for international communication. Neither way is right or wrong. And summary is the cooperative principle is the foundation. We assume people are helpful and truthful for maximum quality, quantity, relation, manner, but we don't always follow this. Sometimes we deliberately break them through floating, creating implicature, hidden meaning beyond a literal word, and obvious lies become sarcasms. Too little uh, info signal relay, relay, relu- too little info signal reluctance. Topic is change signal sensitive subject. This is universal but cultural variable. Understand implication is essential for effective communication, and it's about human interaction, cultural and social skill, not just language.